methodology, it always comes back to the data and the insights that we have behind that. So what we really look to coach our clients on is, how do you build for a data-driven approach? Building that muscle memory for your teams and your organization really starts with that core data model. Looking at those KPIs that you have, what are the key insights or metrics that your boss is really looking to answer? If you're really focused on conversion, let's look at not just the actual cart, but how effective is this full site at converting? Because we know conversion doesn't start once you're in the cart. That's just the end portion. There's the initial attraction of customers to that experience, allowing them to engage and navigate in an insightful and intuitive way. Making sure that we have the right data in place to measure those different interaction points on your site or other digital properties really allows us to be data-driven in our mindset. Once we have those insights developed, it's about driving that with a strong governance process. I know Mas is smiling right now because having the insights is one thing, but making sure that we prioritize them effectively is super important. If we see that, one page on the site is lower converting, but it only receives 1% of traffic, that's not going to be somewhere that we really want to prioritize our efforts initially. So making sure that we are aligning the data with context of prioritization for some of those broader efforts and how you really optimize that experience allows us to be smart with how we're actually testing and iterating on that. From there, it's about, again, establishing that muscle memory. How do we drive iterative testing and personalization? I don't know how many times, I've been in a initial client meeting, or we're doing a discovery or design session for a new site build where there's a ton of dialogue back and forth on how the menu or the navigation works, where really we're not done once we implement that initial navigation or experience. It's about having that core element to really test on, and then continuing to look at the data and how people are engaging with that. If you launch a site or a product or an experience and we're seeing that people aren't navigating much past the homepage, or they're just clicking on the hero images, they're not engaging with navigation very much, that might tell us that we want to test different types of experiences. So the personalized content is 100% a huge value offering, but there are those different incremental optimizations that you can make to continue to improve that customer experience along the way.
Yeah, the one thing I would iterate there, Mary, is what you just said last, is continue to improve. And I said this in another meeting today, I think, but it's never a destination, it's a journey. Customer needs keep changing, which means customer experience need to keep changing. So this approach here is not a one and done.
And I think to that point, right, as kind of bringing this point home of starting now, as you look at that roadmap, part of, securing that funding is making sure that you have the business case for these improvements. So the better that tagging and analytics tracking is, the better insight you're going to be able to derive on. Sometimes I might need, more technology. Sometimes I have the right technology, and it's more that exercise of improving the customer flow or experience. But it's super important to have that core baseline in place.
So many of the questions Mary and I get, especially from CMOs, are, all right, how can I prove that my website is making money? Because they're not going to give me any more budget for it. Literally, that is the question we hear. And the answer is always, well, through analytics.